Boom. And just like that, he was live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome indeed to the Wednesday 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. EST live stream. We're streaming across the known universe. We're streaming on the Facebooks, the YouTubes, the Gettrs, the Rumbles, the Odysseys, the D Lives. And I hope you're going to enjoy this one. This is a big one. Hi to all my friends joining. Leslie, of course, Jean, Sue, Chris, all of you guys. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm just going to now demonstrate my technical prowess by opening up all over on the Getterverse, the Gettr stream, which should be live as we speak. I just need to open it up so I can see you guys over there. Hello, Harry. I can see you there. Just waiting for this to open up. So just stick with me for a second, and hopefully we will have the Gettrs live as well in terms of the stream, so I can see that. Hello, Vicky. Hello, Harry. Oh, Baz. All of you guys joining. It's taking a minute to open actually, which is annoying me. So what we'll do is we'll shuffle that over there, shall we? Jean Walker send a super sticker. Thank you so much, Jean, for your support of this platform. You are a fantastic supporter of this, as all of you guys are, actually. Thanks, David J. Thanks for your kind comment as well. Well, this is going to be a big one tonight, folks. This is, I believe, well, can you hear a sound? Yeah, it's a bell. What's that bell doing, David? It's tolling. And you know who it's tolling for, don't you? That's right. It's tolling for Boris Johnson. Now, it only seems like yesterday since we did one of these live streams. Oh, yeah, that's right. It only was yesterday, right? So we did a live stream yesterday as this started to build. This whole rebellion against Boris Johnson started to build less than 24 hours ago, really and truly, with the resignations of Sajid Javid and Chancellor Rishi Sunak. That was 6 p.m. last night. Move forward 24, 26 hours to right now. I think we've had about 38 resignations. That's right, 38 resignations. The most resignations a prime minister has ever suffered, right? So that situation, we have the chairman of the 1922 committee, Sir Graham Brady, you know, the all-powerful 1922, he's been in to offer apparently wise counsel to Boris Johnson. We have all kinds of ministers telling Boris Johnson to go. We have the Home Secretary, the absolutely useless Priti Patel, telling Boris that it's time for him to go. Well, I agree it is time for him to go, but she should go as well, shouldn't she? So we're going to talk about, and I'm joined, of course, tonight on this one by my with my good my producer and good friend Jed. Jed's joining me tonight for the next hour. We're going to talk you through all of this. We're going to talk you through what's likely to happen. We're going to talk about what does it mean for Britain. What does it mean broader than the broader world? What will happen in the next 24 hours, and indeed in the next couple of weeks? What the implications for this one are monumental, folks. So it's great I couldn't think of a better bunch of people to spend this next 60 minutes with than you lot, because it is Chris Davis is talking about a general election. It's interesting, that one, Chris. We're going to tackle that topic. We're absolutely going to tackle the excuse me, the issue of will there be a general reaction or not. So listen, as I prepare to cough, Jed, would you like to jump on? I know we've got we do have live stream, we do have breaking news sitting in the background. Just chat through people while I take a coffee, please, just for a second.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream tonight. Yes, second night running this. Well, technically, it's third night this week. We had one Monday and we had one last night, and we've got one tonight. But we don't mind being with you. As you can see, I've got the streams up, guys. So if anything does come up, or any breaking news, we can play it out live for you, keep you all up to date. Evening, Chris. Evening, Leslie, and everybody else. And thank you for the kind messages. But 38 resignations. Is he going to go? Is this been a coup? Is this deliberate to do the British public out of what we was hoping for? For example, the Northern Ireland Protocol being demolished, borders being protected. Is this the establishment now trying to bring down Sunday that actually was going to do something for us? I don't know.
Well, I mean, those are good questions, Jed, and we're going to get into that. And I can assure Leslie Butler, naughty Leslie Butler, who suggests, hope that's not the old COVID. It's definitely not, because I've been super duper boosted, so I know I can't get it. So anyway, Leslie, no, it's just me trying to talk too fast and do too much. But nonetheless, yes, Republican Rocker says Boris has nuked the stream. Right. So, okay, let's see if we can put a few.
Sorry, David. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So let me just try and kind of put a context around all of this. Okay. So what has happened today, folks? Those watching in the US, those in the UK, what's happened today is there has been a rising tide of resignations and people saying that these are MPs saying they no longer have confidence in the Prime Minister. And that number has now risen to such a scale that it is fundamentally impossible for Boris Johnson to continue as Prime Minister, to my mind, in any conceivable way, Jed. He's got, there's just the scale. You've had Michael Gove. Gove's told him to go. Patel's told him to go. We've had Sunak. We have had Sajid Javid. We have had Sir Graham Brady, I understand as well. All of the senior people. The only one I don't know about is Jacob Rees-Mogg. I'm not sure if Jacob Rees-Mogg, who has proven to be a monumental disappointment, by the way, absolutely hopeless. But most of those, or a significant number, have said to him, hey, listen, Boris, it's over. Game over. There's nowhere to go on this one. Yes, Jason O'Brien points out the fact that, get this, folks, that the guy who was appointed by Boris Johnson to succeed Rishi Sunak as Chancellor of the United Kingdom, Nadim Zahawi.
That's easy for you to say, David.
It's such a good British name, isn't it? He said that the Prime Minister should resign. He was appointed. I
know, David, but you see, what will we end up with if he goes? We'll end up with a further left-wing Tory of some description.
Yeah, but I don't
have to then live in the echo chamber of Labour going, well, we want a general election. Nobody picked this Prime Minister. Nobody picked this one. We never pick a Prime Minister, but they'll go on, won't they, for weeks and weeks and weeks until there is one.
Well, Jed, that's interesting because it is being rumoured as we speak, folks. And as I said, I'm following loads of stuff on this one. It's being rumoured that Boris Johnson has said categorically he will not resign. And he said this to, I believe, Sir Graham Brady, it's rumoured. And he said, look, it's like this. I'm not going to resign because if I resign, there's going to be a leadership contest which will run across the rest of July, the summer, maybe into August, right? And at the end of that leadership contest, you're going to have someone who Labour will say just what you said, Jed. They're going to say, well, we've got a Prime Minister who hasn't been elected by the British people, even though that's not the British Constitution, right? They're going to say that. And so that means we're going to have a summer of chaos, Jed, whereas we should be dealing with the cost of living crisis. That's what Johnson is supposed to have said. So he's also apparently threatening a general election. Now, I noticed my friend Chris Davies has mentioned this issue. Hello, Leslie Olds, by the way. Leslie, my friend, good to see you. Thanks for being here as well. So there's the threat of a general election. The Tories are petrified of a general election because if there's a general election tomorrow, they would not win it. Whether they lose it yet is debatable, but they certainly.
And that's my point, David. For all the faults that we have currently, all I see this leading to is a general election and having Labour, Lib SNP coalition government, and
Yep.
that will be an absolute disaster. A bigger disaster than Boris hiring and promoting every paedophile in the country to the cabinet. Yeah, and I'm being serious.
Allegedly.
I'd rather have every paedophile in a room where I knew where they were, not touching kids, than I would have Starmer, Sturgeon, well, Blackford. I mean, look at Blackford. He's just been on there. Blackford only ever stands up to slag off the Prime Minister or slag off the government and ask for more money.
Yeah. No,
that's all he ever does.
I understand.
So he's a waste of space. But then we get the Greens and the Lib Dems. I mean, good God, the Lib Dems. The best they can do on the campaign is paint a door blue and open it. Yeah. That's what they did as part of their campaign. You showed it, David. Absolute waste of space. I wouldn't give them the steam off my you-know-what. But I'd rather have the devil I know.
Yeah, but I don't want any devil. This is where we differ. I consider that the binary choice, you've got the Conservatives on the one hand, Boris and the gang in one hand, and this is interesting, 1922 committee. You've got Boris on the one hand and Labour on the other. No, to me, they're all the same. Boris Johnson is unforgivable for me, Jed. He locked us down. He took away our freedom. He rolled out the vaccine, which we can't totally talk about because we are on the YouTubes. But we know, we all know what we think about the so-called vaccines. He rolled them out. He's got us involved in potentially World War III in Ukraine. He spends more time in Kiev than he does in Kensington. I consider him to be a catastrophe, and that's the reason why I would get rid of him. To be honest, Jed, regarding this whole business about Partygate and the whole business of the Deputy Chief Whip, Chris Pincher, it's not great, but I mean, was that reason to get rid of him? Maybe not. Sorry, Chris Davis. Hi, Melanie Bliss, my friend. Great to see you here as well. And Chris Davis, thank you for reminding me that, of course, it's Kyiv. We actually did this last night. I don't know if any of you folks have done this, but if you go and check out Boris Johnson's Twitter page, at the top of it, he's got a picture of himself and Zelensky. And apparently, Jed, as well, in the afternoon when he met the Liaison Committee, which is the sort of the mother of all committees in Westminster, he was going on about Ukraine. Listen, he is going to be removed from power, and he's talking about Ukraine. I find that absolutely surreal. Now, Jed, I want to bring up Kim Mercer makes a point here. He says, David, it's all planned to destroy us. But you know that. Of course I do, Kim. That's why, don't mistake what I'm saying. I'm saying I just want to bring the whole. Okay, you might call me a nihilist. Maybe I am. But Summertime Sue says we don't want a Labour government. That'd be the worst thing going. No, we don't. But we don't want a fake Conservative government either. And the only way we're going to get any change in the Conservatives, if the stable, Sue, has to be cleaned out. We're going to have to go through pain. And that pain might be some kind of mismatch of Labour, Lib Dem, SNP, Jed, which I know you dread. And I dread it as well. But I dread this.
But David, the consequences of that, it's not just everything will be nationalised. Labour will tax us to infinity. And I know we're almost there, but they'll finish us off. Yeah, that we'll have green taxes for breathing in and green taxes for breathing out. Green taxes for, shutting your left eye and a green tax for shutting your right eye. And if you shut them both together, you get taxed 3 times. And then we'll have the Lib Dems who will just come out with props to illustrate something. I don't know. I don't know what the next one will be. They've used doors. I think they've used wheelie bins. God knows what they'll do. And then we get the SNP who just stand there and go, this government is crap and we want more money. No, we've give you more money. You get more money per person than the UK, than England does. And all you do, I'm sorry, David, is pissing up the wall.
Well, I agree with Summertime Sue. And Jed, this is something we can all agree on, I think. And our American friends will agree on this. Yes, Sue, we need patriotism, not globalism. Amen to that. Now, I would support anyone who's a patriotic leader. We do have some of those, but the problem is, there are people like Anne-Marie Waters. There are people like David Curtin. There are people who are not in Parliament and very unlikely to be there, given the outrageously biased system that we've got. So, so there's that. But that's what we need. Boris Johnson, to my mind, posed as a patriot. He got himself into Downing Street as a patriot. And then what has he done? What has he done ever since? All he's done is follow the globalist agenda. He locked this country down. He took away our freedom. He did stuff that was last seen in the 1600s under Oliver Cromwell, who I quite liked. Listen, Boris Johnson is reaping the whirlwind that he is sowing. He's lied and he's lied again. And yeah, I get it. I do understand. Whoever succeeds him, Jed. I mean, we'll talk about the likely runners and riders in a sec. Whoever succeeds him, they're going to be as bad. I completely get that. But it's just Boris is so toxic, and the Conservatives are so toxic now that they are going to lose unless they cannot. Jed, put it like this: do you think the Conservatives could win a general election tomorrow with Boris Johnson as leader?
No, I'm not saying they can. But the point is, I watched or I listened to Starmer today saying, there sits a man, or paraphrasing, there sits a man that promoted, a sexual predator in his cabinet. Yet, as he stands there with the irony that he protected Savile.
Yeah, I know. And
I thought to myself, why does Johnson just not throw that back at him and say, well, hey, I promoted one. You protected a serial paedophile.
Yeah, but two wrongs, I agree, but two wrongs don't make a right. Keir Starmer is a globalist. He's part of one of again, I tried to remember this last night and I've forgotten it again. He's a member of the one of the big clubs, globalist clubs. So we know what he is, and Lib Dems just as bad. But the Tories cannot look. Politicians are sharks, Chad, and they all smell political blood, and it's been building as we go through today. At this point now, at what 20 past 8 or so on this Wednesday evening, they know Boris Johnson is a dead man walking to them, and so I believe they're gonna see him off, and I believe he will be gone either tonight or tomorrow morning. Or at the very latest, early next week. He just can't survive with so many, Jed, of his MPs openly. I mean, most of his senior ministers now have said, Boris, you got to go. So he can't stay, can he?
No, I get that. I do, David. I get it. But I think we've been led into this position as well. Okay, we've been led by the opposition. We've been led by the left-wing globalist media. They've led us into this position because as it was one pedo. Well, he wasn't even a pedo. He was one touchy-feely bloke. Yeah. Which I think he could have survived. But the media have been after Boris for 12 months or more. They've been after blood, and every single step he's taken, they have thrown, the tacks in the road to puncture his tires, tight ropes across to cut his head off. They've done absolutely everything to bring him down. And yes, it might be the straw that broke the camel's back, but I cannot take direction from somebody standing at a dispatch box pointing out the hypocrisy across the room as he defended a serial paedophile for 20, 30 years. I cannot take any moral judgment from a
No, I agree.
Like him.
So just a couple of things, Jed. I wonder, can we just shrink down the Sky TV at the moment, because it's they're on ad breaks and stuff, and we don't need to.
I'll pull it out for now, David.
Yeah. And then a couple of things as well. The Trilateral Commission have been by Daisy Rose and Albert have told me that's the commission that Sir Keir in. So he's a full-blooded globalist. No doubt about that. Absolutely. Also, yes, Chris Davies asked the question to the stream. And let me ask you folks, I've asked Jed, I'm going to ask you now. It's a simple answer, yes or no. Do you think Boris Johnson will survive this rebellion? Yes or no? Hit your answer. Drop it in the box below. We want this to be as interreactive as possible. I hope you let us know what you think. And Jet, I admire your passion in this one, and I agree pretty much. I agree with what you're saying. But the problem is, we're living in a where this is some interesting. Yeah, keep dropping your question. I want to see all that you guys have to say. And then Jed will talk about it. You can see the comments coming as well. Some really interesting stuff. You can see there's yeses and there's no's and there's no, but I want him to, and he won't survive. Yeah, it's no. Yeah, it's really interesting actually. Fascinating, actually. Yeah, keep it coming. This is brilliant. This Jed, isn't this what we love? We love people interacting.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. All I'm trying to do, David, is put a counter to yours. I feel disappointed. I feel let down. I feel like I'm going to lose what I stood for in 2016, which is Brexit. Yep. You see what I'm getting at?
I do.
I'm going to lose all that, all because the media want to destroy a prime minister.
Well, you're right. The media despised Johnson because of the superficial position that he took over Brexit. There's no doubt about that. They've been after his blood. But then again, his judgment, Jed, has been so poor as Prime Minister. It's all very well for Sir Keir Starmer to do this, that, and the other. He's not Prime Minister. He doesn't hold that high office. Boris Johnson held high office. He was caught out over Partygate, and he's been caught out over Chris Pincher, the alleged serial groper, and it seems to have broken the camel's back. And the other thing, by the way, Jed, which is worth pointing out, and that, by the way, Albert Clutterbuck, thank you very much for the kind nomination for me to take over from. If the Tories want me to come in, sort out their party, well, they just better get ready, because you'd actually get red-blooded conservatism then, which is what you have as well, Jed. And I don't think they really want the sort of stuff that's all about cut taxes on people, protect our borders, get the hell out of Ukraine, stop the experimental you-know-whats, give people their freedom. Those are the things that I stand for, that I'm interested in. And
well, that's conservatism, David. And that's what we should have.
Yeah.
But what we do have nowadays, unfortunately, is a conservative government which is pressured by the globalist media to be left-wing.
Yeah. That's right.
And because everybody is pressured by the media, the globalist media, we get a left-wing conservative government and an extreme left-wing party in Labour. And that is the problem. So as Boris did try to get to more centrist conservative values, they go ahead and destroy them. And that's my point. We are not being allowed to have our right-wing government. We have to have varying degrees of left-wing government.
Exactly. It's the way the mainstream media, which is essentially it is the broadcast arm of the New World Order. That's what they do. But and I see, Daisy Rose, your comment. What happened to him when he was in hospital? I'd like to know that as well, because thanks, Leslie. Before Boris went into hospital, he was opposing, if you recall, the restriction, the lockdown thinking. He was in favor of, at that point, that which was called herd immunity. Do you remember back in February? And then he became unwell. He went into hospital with the dreaded, most deadliest pandemic known to man. And he came out a couple of weeks later, and he seemed so much changed that, indeed, Daisy Rose, I wonder about that as well. But I wonder about a lot of these things. Well, I see all your answers. So, Jet, it's interesting. There's clearly a split here. Some people.
Well, I was just going to say that I think Gettr was mostly no's, weren't they? And we had I think we had quite a split across the two platforms, which, yes, I find is interesting.
Yeah, we're going to set them. They need to fight each other now. We need to have a fight.
Box round one.
Someone says, "Can you guys stop?" Obviously says, "Can you guys stop pretending everyone works for the Queen?" Yeah, but then you got to ask yourself the question: who does the Queen work for? But anyway, we'll not go into that rabbit hole at the moment. Yeah, Chris Davey says, Boris, the only man to go into hospital and put on 3 stone in weight. Well, I'll tell you what, Chris, it wasn't NHS food that allowed him to put on 3 weeks or a couple of stone. It sure as hell wasn't that. But I don't know what happened to him in hospital. All I'm saying is that this Conservative government, yet to go back on topic, this Conservative government has not behaved like a Conservative government. It's put taxes up. It's betrayed pensioners. It has lavished billions now in Ukraine on that crook Zelensky. It's done all these things, and that's alienated so much of the Conservative core base. And that's before you get into this whole issue of, is Boris Johnson a guy that you can trust? And the answer to that, I mean, I saw a poll today, Jed. 54% of Conservative voters this morning were saying, we think he should resign. So honestly,
yeah, I saw that one. That
well,
was Mike Cavers as well threw that one out, didn't he? And that's actually flipped since the last scandal, where
yeah,
the percentage
yeah,
one. Yeah, no, I saw that one.
it did.
But again, David, I just think we're being cheated out of something. We, the public, we the taxpayer, we're being robbed blind by the media at the moment, forcing this government out of power so it can get the government it wants in, the government that's green, the government that will give out, subsidies for the green, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, but this government's green. Boris Johnson.
It is, but it's not deep green. It's part green. It's part red. It's got a little bit of blue, but the others are fully red or fully green. Yeah, which would be a nightmare.
Yeah, but this government for me is a nightmare. Labour never locked me down. Labour, in all the years I've been alive, never said to me, you can't go out of your house, you can't go to your place of work. They never said that. It was a Tory government that did that. So
it was, David. But they would have done if they were in power, and you would have still been in lockdown now.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right. Labour actually would have been worse. 100%. I completely agree with that. My issue. What is it? Chris Davies says, sorry, my iPad is on a battery and the wind has stopped blowing and the sun is going in. Where's the candles? Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, but when it gets really cold, Chris, you can even light the candles.
yeah. Because is that not racist? I think they use candles. So I'm not sure. I can't keep up to date with all of this. But I mean, somebody's. I mean, I can see on the stream here, people are saying that there's a lot of agreement that this is the globalists working, and I agree.
Which is what I was saying, David.
And I can see that, Jed, and I can see a lot of you guys, and I'm thinking that as well. I mean, look, people pointed out this to me last night. Rishi Sunak, an ex Goldman Sachs guy, Sajid Javid, an ex banker, in the city. We know these people for what they are. We know that. And the other thing is, there's an ungratefulness in politics that gets me. Now, I'm not sympathetic to Boris Johnson in any way, except when I seen Sir Howie, who he only promoted last night, turn on him this morning and say, oh yeah, you need to go. And when I see Priti Patel turn on him and say, you have to go, it is pretty grim, isn't it? I mean,
it is, David. But again, I think they're being forced by media. Last night, you can't stand by somebody at 10 o'clock at night when they've just given you a new job, and then at 9 o'clock in the morning when nothing, he's done absolutely nothing and said nothing, yet the media have had 10 hours, 12 hours of pumping out vile against people, and then go, oh, well, yeah, he should go. What has convinced him to go? And that is the people that want him out have convinced him.
Well, the thing is, but Boris, I don't think wants to leave. I mean, somebody said with his classical training in terms of the Iliad and such like, the Greek epic, his whole thing is about he's not going to go down sort of meekly. He believes it's better to go out fighting and screaming, and that may well be what happens. I mean, I thought as we were doing this stream tonight, when we talked about this last night, Chad, let's put it in perspective. Last night, it seemed a bit rocky. Now it looks absolutely desperate. It's desperate times for Johnson. The state of the rebellion against him means he is going to have to go. Now, I agree with comments. Daisy Rose says, I think she's probably in your camp, Jed, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. And,
Yeah.
but here's my line. I don't want any devils. I'm so
No, neither do I, David. But what I don't want is a Lib Lab green festival down in Westminster, spending my money on expenses and telling me I can't drive my car and I can't turn my gas central heating on.
But Boris is telling you that.
He is, but he's not forcing me. We'd have Gestapo with Labour at the door, yeah, threatening to shoot me at dawn for turning me hot water on.
Yeah. But you see, but this is the problem with the binary choice. One's bad and the other's worse, and it is a terrible position. And I might say, Jed, and this is where again I have sympathy for you and all the English people on this stream. You English taxpayers have been ripped off enormously by Scotland in particular, but also Northern Ireland, where I live, and Wales, because we take your taxes and we lavish them, and it's unfair, and I oppose it, as you know, Jed. I've been a long time critic of the Barnett formula, but the problem is if we got into that Labour Lib Dem scenario, they would probably take even more English taxes. They would penalize English, hardworking English people, people like yourself, Jed. They would punish you more. I get that. They would allow even more illegal migrants into the UK, and God knows what they would do whenever the deadly BA.4 and BA.5 come back. Oh, by the way, everybody watching, quick reminder, we've got a new premium podcast channel. Have you subscribed? All you have to do is hit the click the link below. We're going to have a special one this Sunday because there's just so much.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a beauty this week, David.
It's going to be a beauty, and it's going to be David, so much fun. Yeah,
I agree with you. I find it really difficult. I'm really, really torn because I want a better government. I want a government that represents me.
Yeah.
Now you could say, well, let's have get rid of Boris. General election tomorrow. Okay. So what do? Do I then go out and go, right, I'll vote for Reform UK? Okay, or something like that, and I do that, and many of people on here may also do the same. But then what do we end up with? We don't end up with Reform UK or a Conservative Party or minority Conservative Party held up by Reform UK. What we get is Labour, Lib, and SNP. If Tories do not get a majority, we end up with that coalition.
Jed, let's ask the stream for all of those in the UK watching this. If there was a general election tomorrow, if there was, and it's not inconceivable that we may have one in the very near future, which party would you vote for? Would you vote Conservative, or would you vote Labour, or would you vote Lib Dem, or would you be
Reform UK,
or Reform UK, or for Britain, or whichever it is? Who would you vote for? Let's have your opinions, because again, Jed, I'll
bring them up as quick as I can, David, as they come up.
Yeah. Because I can see there's a lot of people are in your position or see it the way you see it, Jed. I think because I'm such a nihilist, I see it in terms of burn the whole thing down. I am very much the Cromwellian spirit burns within me. So I'm more lethal, actually, Jed, on this one. But I mean, even forget about me. I don't matter. All that matters is at this point in time, what is the Conservative Party going to do? And I think what they're going to do is they are going to remove Boris Johnson in short order, either with his agreement or against his agreement. Just reading the comments here. So I see we've got
Reform UK seems to be, trending at the moment, mate.
Yeah, I see for Britain has gone in there. I see David.
Heritage.
Well. Yeah. And that's because you see, Jed, the people that watch us are the enlightened people. There's no doubt about that, and that's what makes us completely unrepresentative. I do know that, but that's because you guys are all you've all awakened. You all see the world as it is. Jason,
and you see, I'd love a Reform UK government. I would, because I get and it's never going to happen.
Never going to happen
because of the system we have. So what do you have to do? You have to prop up the Tories to keep the communists out. That's what you have to do.
Well, I agree. Well, yes, I agree. But if you're voting for a side to keep the other side out, like BK, hi there, BK, by the way. BK says the Conservatives are equally useless, but the lesser evil. Yeah. None of us understand the pressures that go on at that highest level. Uh, but all I know is I don't understand why Boris Johnson has decided to spend so much time in Ukraine, in Kiev, um, whilst the country burns. Do you know what I mean, Chad? We've got because of the sanctions against Russia that Boris Johnson and Joe Biden put in place, or this country is in serious trouble economically, and yet he spends all his bloody time in Ukraine. So, I mean, what's that about?
Yeah, I know, David, because we live in a media world where current thing is what politicians follow, because they think what they see on the little bits of Twitter that they actually do look at, unless they want to look at Twitter so they can then bring in a new law to stop everybody else using Twitter. But when they actually look at it, what they see is the current thing, and they go with current thing because they think it's popular. And why do they think it's popular? Because of the globalist media.
Yeah, as Leslie Owens is just pointing out in the Gettrs that indeed it is Kiev. Take that, Chris Davies, and your.
I do not have Kiev and chips. I have Kiev and chips.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, of course, that it's just virtue signaling. It is just virtue signaling. But a day without yesterday, actually, you make a really good point there. For the globalists, Ukraine issue is more important than Boris's career. That actually is a key point. And that actually speaks to the fundamental truth here is this is not about Tory versus Labour or Boris versus Stormer. This is about globalists versus patriots, isn't it, Jet? It's about them, be it the globalist media, be it the globalist, the WHO, the WEF, the UN. It's them. I mean, I also do think that they want to undermine Brexit. I absolutely do think that.
They want to reverse it. They will.
Yes. I think that is also part of the agenda. But then again, you'll have to pardon me in that one because thanks to Boris Johnson, Northern Ireland never left the single market, and we're still subject to the European Court of Justice. And there's a sea border, so
it's okay, David, because we'll all be part of it as well. If the Tories are out, we'll all be part of the EU again.
But then, how do you think the British? In fact, I'll ask the stream, all of you guys on this one. So, how would you feel if we were brought back into the European Union fold under some kind of Lib Dem? Because I don't see how they could do that without a referendum. And if there was a referendum held again, do you think that's conceivable that we would actually lose that one?
Well, let's see what they say. I've got a feeling that this has been a ploy since 2016, David. I think this has been building. And I think it's irrelevant that it's Johnson that's in, yes, he is a clown, but I think it's irrelevant that he's the Prime Minister. This has been building since the result came out on the 24th of June, 2016. This has been building.
Yeah.
It's been building by the globalists.
It is. And actually, I think as I was talking to Jason Miller on Gettr on Monday, Jed, one of the points was there that, back in 2016, globalists lost really bad. Donald Trump got himself in the White House, which was brilliant. And we got ourselves out of the European Union, which was brilliant. So that was looking back on it, Jed, it was a great year. It was a fantastic year. But then they fought back. They fought back, obviously, in social media. They've taken away free speech. Hello, YouTube and Facebook. But we've now got other options like all of the ones we're broadcasting on tonight. And they've been fighting back ever since. And I think when Boris Johnson got into Downing Street, unlike Theresa May, he gave the appearance of having some enthusiasm for a sovereign United Kingdom. But then he only got into power, if you remember, Jed, back in November of 2019. And then by March, boom, COVID, game over. And since then, there's been no conservatism happening in the UK. So yes, it is possible to have a degree of sympathy, I suppose, if you look at it from that context. But BK says, what is Reform UK's position in Ukraine? Do they agree with current policy? Keep pumping in pounds to the most corrupt country in Europe? Don't know. I'm not a I'm not in any political party, so I don't know. Louise Richard says, I agree. I think because we voted to leave, that triggered the so-called pandemic. I think Trump and Brexit did, Louise.
Yeah, I think it gave the globalists that they've been building for 40 years, David, haven't they? They've been building to the ultimate one world government for 40 years.
Oh, they have,
And
yeah.
in 2016, it was smashed right in the nose. They had a bloody nose from the people of the UK and the people of the United States. And they were completely and utterly shocked. And I think this is the fallout. This is what we were now at with, net zero this and Kyiv that and you name it, all this is the globalist plot now, because it looks scruffy, doesn't it? It looks scruffy that we're going for net zero by 2030 and America is by 2050, and the reason it's scruffy is because they're scrambling to get control again, because in 2016 they lost it all.
So we've got some great comments I want to bring up. The Patriot Girl says, Boris fell in line with the globalists, and that's on him. He should have stood for his constituents. Amen. I agree with that. I also agree with our friend Jean Wallace, our great supporter, who says, where's the war against the EU for not recognizing Northern Ireland borders? I agree with that as well. Billy Piper says, I'd bloody love Boris to survive this. I understand that. I get that. He's not gonna, though. He won't. He won't survive this. He is a dead man walking. Whether you're a fan or not, no prime minister in history, Jed, has survived the scale of rebellion we've seen today. It's
no, and he probably is going to fall, David. And the thing, right? Okay, so let's. I'll turn this around then. Okay, because we've got about 20 minutes.
Oh, we have. Yeah. Let's
go, David.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say he falls. Let's say he falls by weekend or over the weekend.
Yep.
So then what we have to do is think who's going to replace him, and it's going to be somebody that replaces him.
The globalist
takes us back to conservatism, okay, and can win a general election, because that's what will happen if Boris goes. There will have to be a general election because Labour will call for it. So what does the stream think? Who do they think should be PM when Boris falls?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Yeah, okay, guys. Who do you think? Who would you like to see leading the Conservative Party? Because Jed's outlined a pretty accurate scenario, except, but look, listen, Boris Johnson may have a thick skin, but this time the trapdoor is being pulled. Trust me in this one. He's gone. But who will succeed? The bookies, Jed, have Rishi Sunak. It's 4-1. I'm not sure if any.
I think he's done. I think he's a spent penny.
Oh, you say that, but I seen that Rishi Sunak's wife, whose name I can't remember her first name, but a charming lady anyway. I saw she brought out tea and sandwiches to the waiting journalists. 38.
So she brought out to the wolves at the door chicken sandwiches.
Yes, she did. Yeah, with in 38-pound mugs, which is not surprising because she is a daughter of a billionaire. I don't think, but I think, you see, here's the thing in this one. And as I say, I don't trust Rishi Sunak at all. Everyone, just to say, don't trust him. But he stayed quiet today. It was Sajid Javid that made the savage speech, which you heard earlier, Jed. It was Sajid Javid. Rishi Sunak is keeping his powder dry until tomorrow, I think. But by tomorrow, Boris probably will be gone. So is that because he wants to stay squeaky clean? So when he announces his leadership challenge, he gets some momentum. I don't know. I mean, I'm just watching to see who you guys think. I'm just looking to see.
I've seen Steve Davis. Steve Baker.
Steve Baker.
Times. But I've just stuck out. I think this. I've spelled it wrong. Never mind.
Yeah, Vladimir. Come on, Vladimir.
Well, he might as well be.
He may as well
got all that tax money.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to read some more comments here. There's so many of them.
See, I would love Frosty the Snowman.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I think, the only one. Steve Baker is a bit.
Don't trust him. Don't trust him at all. No, definitely don't trust him. I definitely don't trust Priti Patel. Definitely don't trust Liz Truss. She's a nightmare woman. So, hi, Donny girl, by the way, all the way from Hawaii,
Yeah,
joined.
I know people are taking the Michael out of me now, David, because I said Steve Davis and not Steve Baker. So, of course, I've got.
You're snooper,
I'm snookered.
snooker loopy, snooker nookie.
Well, I tell you what, why don't we have Diane Abbott as Chancellor? Because the world's bad enough as it is now.
Well, you see, okay, everyone mocks Diane Abbott, and rightly so. But look at the amount of debt that Rishi Sunak racked up. Look at the billions he wasted on the furlough, which I completely disagreed with. Definitely, Lord Frost is getting a lot of love here, I see, which is interesting, because he seemed pretty solid to me. But
yeah, Frosty the No Man, I'd vote for him. I'd vote twice for him.
Yeah, but you can't because he's in the Lords and therefore he can't.
Yes, but there has been rumour, if you listen to Nigel Heavers over the past week or so, that he's thinking of stepping down from the Lords to run. And I think he might take this opportunity when see, I'm now saying, I've changed my mind over this now, when Boris falls this weekend.
Yeah, he's going to fall. And by the way, Dreamer 1066, I recognize you. Liz Truss is a warmonger, absolute warmonger. The things she said I keep putting them out in podcasts because they appall me. She appalls me. So I don't think she has any chance whatsoever of being. Real Surreal says, good to see you, by the way, Real Surreal. You'd vote for Putin. Well, at least Putin loves his own country and doesn't lavish billions on other countries. I think I want the same as everyone else wants for their country. I want secure borders. I want solid economy. I want low taxes, and I want our national sovereignty. And none of those things this particular government has stood up for. Maybe, Jed, and this is where you made a really interesting point we should focus in on. And it's this, that the only chance the Tories have of seeing off a Labour, a Labour Lib Dem SNP Looney Tunes government is they've got to somehow detoxify, get back to core conservative values, cut taxes, cut taxes, do something about the stream coming across the channel of illegal migrants. Will they do that? I don't know, but if they don't, they're toast. If they do,
they are. But I think if Frosty steps down from the Lords, which I think he's probably contemplating right now over a glass of vino.
Yeah.
If he stepped down and the Tories didn't pick him as leader, they are committing suicide. And Labour, SNP will be in like a shot.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, Louise Richards, I agree. Liz Truss should be held responsible for encouraging Brits to go and fight in Ukraine and then leaving them to it when they're caught. Absolutely. I've done podcasts on that, Louise. Yeah. She is to be absolutely abhorrent. The awful thing is she fancies herself as the next prime minister. She sees herself as a mini Margaret Thatcher, which is... I know, but in her mind...
Doesn't every woman in politics on the right think of themselves as Margaret Thatcher? Nobody will be Margaret Thatcher because the lady is not for turning.
No, well, she stuck to her guns, and but the thing is, like, she lasted 10 years. Boris Johnson, I'm telling you now, he will have. So he came to power in December 2021, I think. Sorry, 2019. So he's lasted a couple of years. That's it. Like, that is a serious rate of being eaten up and chewed and sort of spat out. Just 2 years. And he did deliver a big win for his party, and a lot of that was done.
Yes, but he did, because he promised us what we'd been denied since 2016.
Yeah.
And then the globalists got him. Kerry got him. Kerry got a clause in. With the green agenda and stuff like that, David. And the media then started to go after him because they could see he was on one side of the fence saying, yeah, green, net zero, net zero. What does that really mean? Absolutely nothing, but it will cost you trillions. Yeah. And then on the other hand, he was going, yeah, but I want some right-wing stuff. And that was his downfall.
Yeah. The thing is, you can't exactly, Jed. He was trying to be all things to all men. And if there's one thing that everyone in this stream, on these streams, understands tonight, you can't do that. You've got to take a principled view and stick to it. And if you do that, people mightn't like you, but they'll respect you. Boris has had, we're up to 39
39 now, David. Yeah.
39 MPs. Honestly, this is without precedent in the history of UK politics. That's why Boris Johnson, in there behind the door of number 10, which you can see on the screen, he's got to be considering how does he go, not if he goes, how does he go, when does he go, how will he put it? Well, will he say, well, it's not so much a resignation, but I want to make sure that the party continues to prosper? You know what I mean? There's different.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to, again, I know you don't like swearing, but it will be some bullshit statement. Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be.
To make it look like he's doing it for the party. Well, no. The point of a political party is not to do stuff for the party, it's to do stuff for the people that voted for them, the taxpayer, the people that put them in those positions to make those decisions on our behalf. They are our servants, and they should serve us, and they haven't served us for 40, 50 years now.
Yeah. Just a warm welcome to Info Jim and to Gareth Beer over on the Gettrs. Good to see you. Guys, for joining in the stream. So I mean, the way I see it anyway, I just cannot see how Johnson can cling on for more than 24 hours or so. He'll be gone by the weekend anyway.
I think it's weekend time. I think it's a Sunday evening exit. But
you know,
who replaces him? We've talked to David. I'm really, really stuck. Who replaces him? Who's going to give me, you, all the good folk that listen to us, day in, day out? Yeah. Who's going to give them what they want, which is money in their pocket, pride in their country, somewhere safe, somewhere warm to live, and food on the table, and a good education for their kids?
None of them. And that's why I agree with Real Surreal on the YouTubes. He says, sack the lot of them. Let's call it the Great Reset and the Right Reset. And I agree with that. I'd like to sack them all in Westminster, not just Johnson, but all of them, the Labour, the Lib Dems, the Tories. These ultimately the vultures in Downing Street, and they are like this is where you can have a certain sympathy for Boris Johnson. These people are vultures. One minute they're his friends, the next minute they're literally pecking on his political corpse. It's disgusting. But politics to me is disgusting, Jed. That is my problem. Republican Rocker, it is a night. It's been a day of the long knives over here in the UK. The knives have been going in all day. And there's so many gone in, Republican Rocker, that's why he is doomed. He is doomed. But yeah, you're right. I mean, who's going to take over him? We've talked about anyone who does is going to be a globalist approved candidate. But that's not what we want. And
no, that's the point, David. It is. So unless we get Frosty, which I think is not a globalist or not a 99%, gold-plated globalist, then I think we're doomed. I think everything that we've gained since 2016 will be lost.
Well, certainly over the Northern Ireland Protocol, Lord Frost was excellent. And he basically turned around to Boris and said, we should just say to the EU, right, this is what we're doing. That's it. We're going to trigger Article 16 and we're going to remove the sea border. That's I guess, Jed, that's the sort of strong conservatism that you and perhaps many others want to see. And that's the only thing that can save the Conservatives. But the media don't want that. And summertime, Sue, you can hear the knives being sharpened. It's been, honestly, there's political blood in the air. Tell American friends watching this one, when you've been around the scene as long as me, you can smell it. It's so obvious to me that that Boris was basically going to be defenestrated, and he has been with and Stu Frost says he's got no sympathy. Well, no, nor do I, because he locked me down, he took away my freedom, and he forced people into taking experimental you-know-whats and all of that. And to me, that's utterly unforgivable. The difficulty, Stu, to that view, which Jed's articulated, is, but Labour would have done it worse. And he's right. But I'm just saying, well, a plague on all their bloody houses, a plague on all their houses. But as we say, in the last sort of few minutes of our stream tonight, the thing is that I don't see Johnson literally getting past another day or two. It will be interesting to see. In politics, the way it works, it seems to me, is that the crescendo rises and rises and rises. Jed, the bloodlust gets greater and greater, get greater. The resignations get greater and greater and greater. And the only thing that releases the steam is the resignation. Is that not right?
No, you are right. But then what follows? And I mean, we've got Ricky here saying IDS. Absolutely not. IDS is weak as lettuce. Yeah, he's got the breaking strain of a Kit Kat. Absolutely not. Are you there, David? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I am. Sorry, Jed. I just see a comment from Rustin Haysberg over on
The
Gettr saying he's gone. So
I'm live on Sky here, and it's not on here, David.
Yeah, but sometimes Sky, if anybody's on the Twitters, for example, that's probably where you'll get the first news of it. But
let's see.
Let's see.
I'll keep it up there and see if it pops up.
I believe I've been saying from the start of this, I believe he's completely screwed over in this one here. I agree, by the way, Jed, your comments regarding IDS. Forget about Ian Duncan Smith. Probably Lord Frost is about the only one that I could stomach, and we'd have to have mass sackings round the cabinet table. And by the way, Jed, I thought it was funny. Did you know our friend from last night we had on? We put a tweet up from her. The absolutely useless, promoted way above her position, Nadine Doris, who pledged her undying loyalty to Boris. Can you imagine the position that she's in tonight? I bet she's going, oh God, how do I walk away from this one? How do I walk away? I've committed my loyalty to someone who's going to be gone. Oh, so Rustin Haysberg says, no, I think he's going to be gone. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. But I still think, in fact, Jed, I think we should roll this one till just after 9.
Yeah, that's fine, mate. We'll roll as long as you like. I mean, viewing figures are brilliant over on Gettr.
If there's anything, folks, going to happen, I reckon it'll happen, Jed, in the next, I'm just looking at the clock here, the next couple of minutes, next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll pull the ads down. I'll pull it back up once the ads have finished, David.
Yeah, we have, the possibility of a resignation, I reckon, either 9 o'clock or tomorrow at some of the, right. Oh, Billy Piper breaks the news. Okay, according to Reuters, friends, Boris Johnson is giving a speech at 10 p.m. He will resign as Conservative Party leader, but not as Prime Minister. Wow.
Can we have a citation for that one, Billy?
Yeah,
please?
Billy, can you give us the link, or can someone get us the link on this one? So
I'll have a look on Twitter, David.
Leslie always going to check twatters later. Leslie, make sure you defumigate yourself after you've dipped into the twatter swamp. But so Ricky asked, hi Ricky, Rick, by the way, always good to see you in the stream. Hello, Globus Hystericus. All right, Billy Piper is saying, no, he hasn't. Okay, thanks, Billy, for the false alert. Appreciate that one there.
Let's go in there, didn't he, David? I think you owe us a super chat for that, Billy.
Yeah, Billy, you're a rascal. But it wouldn't surprise me. It actually, at this point, nothing would surprise me. We've had people do this, make these odd decisions. The Daily Mail saying he might call a general election. He said that's the threat, Jason. That's the threat. He's threatening a general election. I believe that's what he did do on the. Kim, I'm not going to read out that comment, Kim, but we're not going to talk about Wing Commander Julia Hartley Brewer, first Ukrainian volunteer force, aka Talk Vaccine Radio. Are we allowed to say vaccine on YouTube? Maybe not. So I think that I still stick with what we're saying though, because the pressure on Boris Johnson right now, as we're here with you right now, is enormous. He has to do something. He can't go to bed tonight having a big think about it. That's not going to be what's happening at all. the men in grey suits have come for him, Jed. Graham Brady did meet with him earlier, and he offered him his counsel. Now that's code, that's political code. What is it? Jason says the Queen might back him. I think just reading that, I think there's more likelihood that Queen the band might back him than Her Majesty. Day Without Yesterday says, "Oh no, we're going to give you a nightmare because I've talked about the fragrant, the lovely Julia Hartley Brewer." And that awful, that god awful talk vaccine radio. Yes, Info Jim says the point that Theresa May must be loving this. Yeah, she must. I mean, the Germans have a word for reveling in someone else's misfortune. It's called Schadenfreude. And Theresa May. That's okay, Chris Davies. Thanks very much for being here. And don't forget, yes, we will have our live podcast tomorrow night, which we will also stream over onto the Gettr. So see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Chris. Thank you for being here. So they're talking about Tuesday evening of next week. I don't know. The Conservative Party is in disarray. This government is in chaos. I don't know if. Well, I can see there, Jed, in the background, the door of Downing Street. Maybe we could just...
I'll bring it up, David.
Bring it up, yeah. What will happen, friends, is this. There will be an announcement made. There will be a lectern go outside that door. He will come out to the lectern and he will announce his resignation. That is what's going to happen. Might happen tonight, might happen tomorrow, might happen the next couple of days. But trust me on this one. Boris Johnson is a spent force. History will look back on him, Jed, and they will view him in whichever way. History tends to be kind to people, basically. Big Vern asked the question, where the hell is Cromwell? Well, yeah, hello, Eric Dondero.
Where is Mr. Fox?
Good to see you. Evolo sunglasses as well. Thanks. Yes, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're watching this on the Gettrs, hit it's the heart button, isn't it, Jed?
Well, it depends on what you're watching on. It's a thumbs up if you're in browser. I don't know anymore, David. But you can do super chats on YouTube too. That'll keep the channel going.
And on the Rumbles as well. Don't forget on the Rumbles.
Oh, yeah.
And the Rumble equivalent of this. So if you want to get your comment particularly brought to our attention, we see that. Grant Orino says, I see a black door and I want to paint it red. Yeah, we know. But the thing about this, we know how awful these people are. We absolutely get it, Jed, don't we? We know that Labour are grim. Look, this guy on the screen, Starmer. And look behind him, Angela Rayner. What is it called? The Ginger Growler. And I'm not sharing with, I'm not for one moment daring to say what that refers to. You can leave that.
I won't mention. Oh, that's a nice beaver.
No. This is a family-friendly program, especially on the YouTubes. But they are appalling. All of them. Look at them. But the awful thing is, I found myself agreeing. I put it out on my Gettr post earlier today. I agreed with one of the awful, extreme and awful lefty MPs who was basically, actually, she made a point, Jed, which you might agree with as well. I wonder, can I just bring it up here if I can, Jed, or if you can bring up in the background, if you can bring up my Gettr, up my Gettr if you can. And there's a post from a Labour MP called Zara Sultana. And she is, despite her ludicrous name, she is a great growler, summertime Sue, in every sense of the word. Billy Piper wants to know, is Angela Rayner hot or not? That's a separate discussion, Billy Piper. If you think that, you may need psychological help, but maybe not. And we mustn't be sexist. We never are on this platform. But I put up this tweet coming from, it was a tweet which I got and put on a Gettr from a Labour MP, and I agreed with her. I agreed with what she was saying. It's awful that I can agree with this awful woman, Zara Sultana. If you just scroll through all the macho stuff put out today, keep going there, Jed. I'll soon let you know when we see it. There's so much stuff there. I hope you're all enjoying the content going out over there. Let me see. These are Keep going. We're doing this on the fly, folks. So that's
So apologies for this.
there we
There you
go.
go.
Yeah, there we go. Now, look, this is a particularly atrocious Labour MP. But Jed, surely you agree. She says, just so we're clear, Sunak, Javid, and all the others abandoning Boris aren't acting from principle or honour. They've known what he's like from the beginning. They're abandoning him now because they think his leadership threatens their interests. That's it. I agree. Sorry, I agree with this. This extreme Labour MP. What do you think?
I'm going to agree as well, David. I'm going to agree with a comment, but it's nothing new. It's what every MP does when they see their leader falling. Some will initially stand side by side, and others will stick the knives in. But at the end of the day, they will all stick the knives in. Why? Because it's about self-preservation.
Yeah, that's
it's about keeping that MP's wage coming in. It's about which is £80,000 a year. But more importantly, it's about the £250,000 and £350,000 worth of expenses that they get every year.
Yeah, that's right. And also, don't forget all the extra perks, all the influence, all of those things.
Yeah.
So Jason O'Brien points it out here on the YouTubes. There's no loyalty in Parliament. And I mean, here's a great example of it. Here's this hypocrite who has become Chancellor, and now he turns on Boris Johnson and says that it's time up. And that is pretty appalling. You know, it is Republican rocker, dog eat dog, Daisy. It's all self-interest. Grant Areno says Angela Rayner is hot and I'm fully vaccinated. I think you've maybe taken too many of the jabs.
I think that's too many vaccines.
Remember, no, Jed, you can't have too many jabs.
Oh, sorry, no.
Sorry,
take another 15. Your opinion might change.
Do you know something? I put out on my Gettr visions, you know, the little silly stuff. I put out a thing yesterday. So, I don't know if we can bring it up. It would be funny to play it actually.
I'll see what I can do, David.
In the background, because the response has been amazing. It amazed me actually. I do some of this thing just to amuse myself actually, and if it amuses you guys, I love it even more then. But you can never be vaccinated enough. YouTube, and remember, this channel we fully support the super duper effective. 100% effective jabs and the boost.
Yeah, just like the health secretary was 100% effective until he wasn't health secretary.
Well, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I think Rustin, I agree. Labour is communist. I get that. The Tories are communist light. I'm probably they're socialist light, and I'm probably. Oh, here we go. I put this up yesterday in a moment of madness. I wonder if we can play it loud. So
Hey everybody, I'm just back from having my second booster as recommended by Dr. Fauci, and as you can tell, it's really looking good for me. And I have to say, if anyone doubted the absolute efficacy of these experimental gene therapies, vaccinations, then just look at me and you'll see there's nothing to fear.
And the clock struck on the hour.
He did, right? He did.
I don't know who that guy was. He looked a bit like me, but he
had a lot of spikes on his face. That must be the protein.
That must be the protein, and that's a good sign. That's Jed. That's how you know it's working. So thanks everybody who watched that silly thing that I put
right, can I just comment? Sophie Ridge isn't cute, but I also just want to say, David doesn't know this, but on the Podbean app, Beth Rigby from Sky News has her own podcast channel. She's got 51 followers, David.
Right. Okay. I think we might be able to give her a few lessons in how to do things.
I think so, mate. I think so, because yours is doing brilliantly.
Well, no, that's thanks to you, and it's thanks to everyone who downloads our little podcasts every day and who will hopefully sign. Yes, it's Irish Stellar. That was my long lost twin who's taken all the super duper jabs, and he's looking good. He's never looked better, actually, according to him. Thanks, Leslie Coles, for that comment. But yeah, so look, it looks to me, Jed, that we are going to have a frenzy tonight. And then can you imagine what tomorrow's press is going to be like, Jed? The press is going to be...
It's been written in the runes since 2019, mate, when he got in power, you know.
Yeah,
it's written in the runes. It will be even in breathing in and out will be wrong.
Yeah, no. There's just nothing. Oh, is this some? Was that?
No, this is just a replay from earlier on.
Earlier, yeah. So tomorrow is going to be a big morning. The press will be absolutely horrific tomorrow morning. I have no doubt. As we're finishing this stream right now, you can be sure that in all those newspaper offices, then you will get horrendous.
They're writing the obituaries now, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Great point. Yeah, they absolutely are. His political obituary has been written. It's only when they publish it. Rustin says, will you come back live if you hear something, David? Maybe, but if I don't, you'll excuse me, but I've been on probably with Jed a longer than normal tonight. But it's not often you get these situations. We seem to have had quite a few in the UK, Jed, with Theresa May and now with Boris Johnson, where these moments of crisis envelop us. And I think the difference between Theresa May and now is that we've all woken up on our side. We see the hand of the globalists, so we do see that. But then we saw that at work with Boris Johnson and with all of those around him. And by the way, we people like Sajid Javid, I was very critical of Boris Johnson, but Sajid Javid, who was Mr. Jabs and whatnot, along with Zahawi, who was also Mr. Jobs. I mean, I despise those individuals as well. So I've got no time for them. So look, I think, Jed, what we'll do is we will thank everybody. Thank you all so much for being here and being on the stream, the streams even this evening. Patriot Girl says, what started the Great Resignation in the first place? Very simple. I can answer that. Boris Johnson claimed not to have known about one of his MPs who has been alleged to be a serial groper of other men. And then he remembered that he had been told about him, Patriot Girl. And there's a name for people who do that, for that. And that's called lying, unfortunately, for him.
And Jimmy Savile. Oh, sorry.
So there we have it. Podcasts are below. I'm sure hope you're following me on my podcast channel every day. We've got those coming out. The brand new Super Duper Premium podcast. You can sign up to that now. You can be like Leslie Butler, be a super fan of the podcast as well. Thanks for being here with us this evening. I thank you so much for all your kind comments. I do appreciate that there. Yes, Rustin Haysberg, Nish Kumar is a racist. Indeed, he tweeted something very racist on Twitter.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Yeah. But he'll be allowed to stay on.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah, because he's of the right shade.
Well, he's attacking white people.
And anybody attacking white people is okay.
Yes, apparently being racist towards one particular race is okay, whereas I don't believe in racism against any race. So and I think that's how all decent people should be. Anyway, listen, I'm off to lie down in a dark room. Thank you all very much for your kind comments. Thank you, Jed, for being here. And we shall...
keep talking, David. I need to press some more buttons first. Keep talking a second.
I'll keep talking. I'll keep talking.
I'm ready now. I can play the outro now. I'm sorry.
Right. Okay, folks. Look, that's it from us on a very important evening in British politics, when it looks like the Prime Minister is well on his way out the door, and we will discover either later tonight or tomorrow morning when he finally goes. Thank you all for taking this time and being with us, and we will catch you folks tomorrow night on our live podcast, which will also be going on to the Gettr. So that's it. Bye, everybody.
Good night.